God bless everyone. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Amateur Hour. In this episode, I'm gonna be doing some shooting, neutralizing the threat, clearing the house while wearing all my gear. Put everything on and let the drill begin. It's a nice hot day. For this drill, I'm not gonna wear my helmet because it is way too hot. Okay, fine, because no excuse. Not much point of the comms because I don't yet have the radio. Hopefully I will implement the radio as part of my setup sometime soon that actually works with my ear protection, but not as of right now. So the objective is pretty simple. I'm gonna be coming up the driveway, getting into the prone position somewhere where I do have the view of the target. The target is located right here, and then once I'm done neutralizing this threat, I'm clearing the garage, clearing this side first as I'm coming in, coming up on that corner, and then clearing obviously under the car, so far so forth, and that's really it. Now let the drill begin. Already done similar drills before with prone shooting and room clearing, but today's drill is a little bit different. Not only it's a really hot day, but today's drill is also about sleep and food deprivation. Almost 35-hour mark that I haven't slept, and close to 16 hours now that I haven't had any food. The whole point of this is to see if I can do the same basic things under different conditions. Just imagine you have to leave your house and you run out, you grab the essentials, maybe some firearms, maybe some ammunition, maybe even you have one of them bug out bags ready to go. Maybe you have a snack, maybe you have some food, some meals, some dry meals, some whatever. Maybe, you know, some good sources in the nature that are actually edible, like some of these flowers or like one of these berries. Check this out, look at that. This is definitely good to go. Thank you, Lord. Delicious. Sawtooth blackberry. Can't go wrong. Has a very distinct flavor. Eventually, your meals will become less and less regular, less and less portions. And the same thing with sleeping. You might have to hold security for hours. You might have to walk for hours because somebody's on your tail. Will you be able to maintain your combat readiness or not? And if you don't try, you're not gonna know. So I highly recommend. Sorry, this berry just blew my mind how delicious it was. You really start appreciating stuff, appreciating the gifts that God gave us that are all around. Okay, so I'm approaching the direct line of sight of the threat. Nothing crazy this time. I'll just nicely and comfortably get into the pro position. This is round 2, so I'm not gonna push it too hard on round 2. Okay, target acquired. See if I got it. Yes, I did. All right, so let's see the hits so far. And looks like the second round was a lot better, because on the first one I really got the shoulder. So on this third round, the last one, I'm going to try to make a precision, as much of a precision shot as possible, and aim somewhere for the neck head area, which is going to be extra interesting because there's a drone right behind, so hopefully I don't miss and hit the drone by accident. I want to try to do as much of as a stealthy shot and see it from the perspective of the target. See if I need to crawl to where I have a good. Sorry, my brain is really fogged. I really need some of those more berries. But this grass right here should be a help. My camo shirt should be help. My jeans definitely not gonna be any help, but I don't have camo pants yet, so hopefully it's the next thing that I'm gonna add to my kit. Oh yeah, round 1, round 2, and then the risky round 3. Okay, so today, after doing this drill, I want to answer an important question. The question: is it worth it? Is it worth it? All the equipment, all the suffering. So I'll start with the equipment. The equipment allows me to do these things. Have I not had it, I won't be able to. And these things, they allow me to go through the suffering that otherwise I will not experience up until the time is to experience it. So the question whether or not it is worth it is really a question of faith. And to answer it is, how strong is your faith? Now, if you're strong in your faith, then you know for a fact that the times of tribulation are coming. It's not a matter of when, or, sorry, brain is not at full capacity. It's not a matter of if, but it's a matter of when. We know for a fact it's coming, we just don't know when. Nobody does. Although we do see signs around the world showing us pretty clearly that we are pretty close. And I think a lot of people went through that awakening moment a couple of years ago with the whole pandemic. People did not realize that such things are possible. People did not realize that the authorities are capable of such things, even though in history we have authorities doing crazy things. But unfortunately we live in a generation, the generations that are in this generation, they seem to have a problem with a short-term memory. But that's a human nature. It's not really a problem of generation, it's a problem of human nature, because if the previous generations did not have the same problem, we wouldn't be here in the first place. But that's a whole completely different conversation. So we know the times of tribulations, the times of suffering are coming. And yes, of course, as a Christian, as a follower of Jesus Christ, I do believe in what is called rapture. But again, we don't know exactly what it entails. One will be taken away and one will be left. Same people in the same factory. One will be taken away and one will be left. We really don't know what it entails. And for me to sit in the comfort of my own home, in the abundance of the world of the flesh, of all the comforts that the world provides, and think that I don't need to do any of this because I am a believer and I will be taken away during the rapture. What if God has different plans for me? What if God has plans for me to defend my neighbors, to defend my friends, to defend my loved ones, to defend other people of faith? And that brings me to the question number 2, and it has been asked quite more often in the recent years, again, I think past this whole people waking up and leading to the things that are happening today. And it is, of course, sorry. Especially with the release of the newer movie, Civil War. Because that's what a lot of people, unfortunately, in this country not even anticipate. Maybe the word anticipate is the correct word. Almost want to settle their differences with the neighbors. Even though there is really not much differences with the neighbors, it's really more so of the brainwashing, the agenda of the authorities to divide and conquer. And as part of the division, of course, there will be a time when the majority will follow, and we know it, again, as Christians, as followers of Jesus Christ, we know for a fact that the majority will follow authorities. And that's why you see actively the so-called church, the 501(c)(3)s and the mainstream denominations of Christianity, they actively push this notion that you have to submit to authorities no matter what. They look at things like Peter said and Paul said in the book of Acts, and they say, oh look, you have to submit to the authorities. Jesus said turn the other cheek. Completely misrepresenting, adding really their own teachings. That's why they're called teachers of the law. That's why the Pharisees were the teachers of the law. That's why who we have today in these so-called churches are the teachers of the law. They're no different than the Pharisees. They, every single Sunday, they crucify Jesus Christ by coming up and saying all of these things against what Jesus Christ was teaching us. And Jesus Christ was teaching us to have the discernment, to understand the difference between what is right and what is wrong. And the people that are sitting in the comforts of their own home thinking that, oh, I'm a better Christian than you are because you're running around with guns and shooting. And I'm sitting here like I'm all this holy. I'm doing all these things that are holy, and I myself am holy. They think they're the scornful. They think that they're better than you are. But the reality is, those are the people that will turn and follow the authority and go and will take the mark of the beast and go and will worship the Antichrist, because they will justify. In order to protect them, it will benefit their flesh to protect themselves by submitting to authorities. They're not going to say, no, I will not submit to this authority because this is not the right thing to do. My only authority is Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. I will not do that. And again, as Christians, as followers of Jesus Christ, we know that the times are coming when without that mark of the beast, you will not be able to go to grocery store and buy yourself groceries like comfortably, like you are adjusted to. So what does it point us to? It points us to the tactics of the war of attrition, where the authorities, they know they cannot personally, singularly eradicate all of these misfits, all of these outlaws, all of these world of the flesh laws, outlaws, all of these deplorables and countrymen and whoever, free man, running around saying, I want to live free, I want to have my own garden, I want to do this, I want to... We can't eradicate them all one by one, but if we are able to restrict their access to the comforts of the things that we provide, and that's how they control you, by providing these comforts, by providing things like healthcare and the grocery stores. And people on this channel, I have people coming up saying they're Christian, and then they blame me for being not Christ-like, for speaking out against the world of the flesh, the ruler of which we know is the devil. But it is okay. If that makes you feel better about yourself, do you, bro. Listen, I'm not here to convince anyone otherwise. I'm not here to... I know what it is to have, not faith, to have religion pushed upon someone. I know exactly what it is. I come from the country where people have been forcefully submitted into the religion that is not theirs, that is false religion, following the false prophet. And these people, most of them today, up until today, 1,000 years ago, more than 1,000 years ago, it happened. And up until today, people submit to this religion and worship the false prophet and the God they do not understand, and because it benefits their flesh, because they don't want to rock the boat, they don't want to stand out in the society. So what are you gonna do? Are you gonna bow, bend the knee, stand the knee? Sorry, English not my first language. The heat doesn't help. Are you gonna bow down to this golden statue? Are you gonna remain in the bondages of the authorities, false gods, false idols? Are you gonna take the mark of the beast? Or are you gonna say, no, I am strong in faith? But here's the thing. In order for you to be able to do that and say, yeah, I'm strong in my faith, you have to be strong. Because that faith, don't forget, while we are here in the flesh, we are in the flesh. The spirit, our soul, is still in the flesh. So if your flesh is weak, what do you expect? And I know I am weak. I'm doing these things not to show anyone that I'm strong. I'm doing these things because I know I am weak. And I don't want to be like one of those fake, false, mainstream Christians that say, oh, I'm better than you because you're doing these things and shooting guns. It's not Christ-like. And then they not just misinterpret, they deliberately do false teachings to benefit their own flesh, to benefit their own agenda of comfort, of maintaining that comfort, of maintaining that doing absolutely nothing, sitting in the comforts of their home. And I don't want to be like that. Because when the suffering comes, when the times of tribulations come, I don't want to be like that, submitting to the Antichrist and taking the mark of the beast because well, I'm just too weak, I can't handle it, I have no other option, I gotta do it. I don't want to be like that. And so, to prepare myself for the suffering and hopefully to encourage my brothers and sisters in Jesus Christ, don't listen to these people. They haven't seen evil in the world. They don't know to what extent the evil may go. And there's a lot of evil. There's a lot of threat besides the authorities that we have here. We have authorities around the world, each one of them wanting world domination. Any of the big empires that we have around the world wants the domination. And all of these empires, they do have people under them. They will blindly follow any kind of orders that they will say to them. Not only that, we have false religions, false prophets that are calling for the annihilation of others. And again, if you're not familiar with the history of some of these religions, the mainstream ones, look into it. And even if you don't want to fight humans and just say, hey, listen, you come here to kill and murder and rape my family, I'm a good Christian, I'm not gonna do anything about it. Here, slap me on the other cheek while you're beheading my family. Because that's what their religion is calling them to do. There is a threat that is a technological threat. The drones, the AIs, that humans desperately, that are desperately trying to deny God. They have been desperately trying to recreate the artificial intelligence. And the only thing that they will be able to do with it is militarize it and turn it against humans. Why? Because under their own definition, under the definition of these same people, so-called scientists, so-called scientific community that are working on developing these things, that are working on mimicking something that God has already done, that they will never be able to do. The only thing that, by their own standards, humanity is the virus. So what do you expect from artificial intelligence? So if you don't want to fight flesh and blood, that's all right. But consider fighting these robots, that all of these videos are coming up now, of these robots punching the punching bag and doing these crazy jumps and doing these crazy things. How long till these robots can pick up a gun and start shooting? Listen, I don't know what's coming. I really don't. I know that the tribulation is coming. I know that the suffering is coming. Because I can see the signs around the world, and you can see them too. And even if we don't get to these times in our lifetimes, we have our children. Some of you have grandchildren already. By doing these things, you can teach them. You can be an example for them. So, God bless everyone. grow in your faith, strengthen your loved ones in faith by being an example for them, not being judgy and arrogant and scornful while sitting in the comforts of the world of the flesh, but rather sacrificing your own flesh to show someone what strength of the faith really looks like. Because after all, that is the greatest expression of love, is to sacrifice one's flesh for your brother. And when the time is right, I pray that I'm strong enough in my faith not to be that fake Christian, not to be that Judas or even Peter and turn away and say, oh no, I don't know Jesus. I'm nothing to do with Jesus. So, God bless everyone. Thank you for watching. And I'll go eat, sleep, because, yeah. Oh man. Oh yeah, this is gonna hurt.